Here we go again. Mr. No Fanfare here. Did a shave for you guys. Didn't get my glasses fixed. This is America's Best Glasses, by the way. And if you notice, I just had them adjusted and, gosh, they're slightly tilted. I don't know how to fix that. To get a better view of, maybe my face is messed up. Could be. And if you want to leave some nasty comments, please do so below with the comments section. Today I'm going to talk about some inventions. My one-man mission to help the poor, to feed the homeless, maybe establish housing in this world. My website, www.dorothyday.org. And I'd appreciate it if you visit. Also on Facebook. Okay, that's the end of the deep voice intonations. One of the ideas I had, I was looking at ramen soup one day. You know, the little noodles that come, and they have the little flavor packet, and you mix them up, and college students love them. And what, about 6 cents a piece? They used to be 2 or 3 cents a piece. And I started thinking about what other nationalities have something like that, and I came up with my grandparents' nationality, which was Slovak. And they have a thing called a halushki. Very simple to make. It's basically a flour dumpling with a little salt added, and then you put it in a tomato bisque. And I was just wondering, as an invention, if something like that could be done that was comparable to ramen. Create a noodle or a dumpling, create a flavor bisque packet, and put it out into the world. A lot of times in life, I realized a few things. They say always to go to your family. Me? Don't go to family with anything new or novel, or your girlfriend. Stay away from them. People have called Whole Foods the first time and gotten their product showing from what I've seen on Shark Tank. That always cracked me up. I made calls and calls and calls at times, and I never seemed to be able to get through that barrier or over that fence or that gatekeeper. Tony Robbins had a part about getting through to the gatekeepers or past the gatekeepers. Anyway, so that's one idea. Another idea I had was a vegan dessert. My girlfriend's vegan. And so one day I got some silken tofu. And most of the time I don't like tofu. And it was around probably Halloween or whatever, and I figured tofu and pumpkin. How could I make a dessert out of this? Well, I know that pumpkin and the cinnamon spices and allspice and certain flavors go together very well. Brown sugar. And so I made a dessert from silken tofu, pumpkin, and spices. Add some sugar. And she really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it. I don't usually eat tofu. I mean, I know it picks up the flavors of things, but the silken tofu was really great. And then I thought, how many other people would enjoy a product like this? Or something a little more proprietary. So I'm going to call this an idea tithe. I think the second one definitely, or both of these ideas that I've told you about so far, would sell. One, the first one, the idea of implementation and the process of making a product might not be feasible. I'm not sure if it is. Can I make a dried tomato bisque or something similar to tomato bisque and then reconstitute it? I'm sure it's out there. Halushki, we used to say. So it's two ideas in my idea tithe today. One, I realize, and I'll come up with a lot of things, and some of them are out in the market, and then people say, what did you... I mean, I was on this toilet bowl kick, and about how do you sanitize the toilet bowl or the seat on the toilet bowl for ages. Nobody had a product out. And then I started seeing the other people's products. So that's happened to me a few times. One other idea that I had was just from using the cutting board. So you cut up your vegetables, chop, 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 and you go to either press them and drop them in the soup or whatever you're making, the stir fry. And what happens? Your vegetables in the sink, especially in a small apartment, you have the vegetables on the stove, vegetables on the floor. And what I wanted was a chute, funnel chute kind of thing that would just keep the vegetables away from the floor, the stove, the sink. Maybe as an attachment. And what would happen is when you pushed it down, it would just go right where it was. No waste, no fuss, no muss. So that's another idea. And as I said, I'm just pushing these ideas out there into the stratosphere, the ozone layer. Hopefully, maybe you'll connect with someone and they'll do something with it. Because I'm certainly not the individual that's going to try this. I do my own little work. Another idea I had was, and this one's been out there for quite a while, is a road that conducts electricity. All the cars going over a road, especially in large areas, what if all these cars somehow could conduct electricity? So yes, it would be just recapturing a little part, a little token of these cars passing over a road every day. Matter of fact, the guy from MIT liked that one. I love when I see something. I'm not a genius, but I love it. When, for instance, the gigantic capacitor. Oh, I love that. I had that one as a kid. And years later, I see that MIT was looking into how to store larger amounts of energies in a capacitor that was bigger. And now they have them. Another idea is, instead of having charging places all over, or not all over, for electric cars, conduct the electricity on the road, have it go to a system, and then wirelessly transmit this, and it'd have to be encoded in some way to cars that use electricity. Can you imagine just having this zap down into the car that needed the electricity to recharge, and it would be trickle charging as you went along. Toot, 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 toot. I'm not an engineer, so I don't know if it's even feasible. But the concept here was to pitch a few ideas from the leisure of a chair. It's only happened once that I stated a goal in New Hampshire, where I got so tired of talking to people, and I told myself, I said, I'd really like to learn how to put in floors. And I'm so tired of walking out into that world and pitching great ideas, even about management or different styles of selling products, to people who really didn't care. I'm tired of interviews at Quiznos the last 2 hours, as they did in New Hampshire, for a simple dishwashing job. And so at the time, I kept on looking at the door of my apartment and thinking that what I wanted would come my way. So it was a job, a woodworking job. I had to pay very good money, and the job was going to come right to my door. And believe it or not, the job did come right to my door. I had a knock on the door one day, and exactly what I had asked for walked through that door. But what did it take? It took a lot of energy, it took a lot of positivity, trying to block or negate every negative emotion. It took energy. But still it was accomplished by sitting in a chair. Then came the element in this whole positive thinking, overwhelmingly positive thinking. How was I going to get paid? And so that was never discussed because I just needed to get out and to work. And what happened, it was one of the biggest checks I've ever received, just a little work. But unless you can repeat the process time and time again, I would consider it a fluke. Anyway, that was a short aside. And I don't know if any of these ideas have value to you. They're free for the taking. It's an idea tithe. Work on it, don't work on it, laugh. I always say, if you want some negative comments, to add your negative comments, please put them down below. But as I said, my main goal is to try to feed the poor, help those in need. So if anybody ends up taking any of these ideas, remember, help the poor, feed those in need. Thank you very much for your time. Thank you for listening. And remember, sometimes it's about risk. Some risk we don't like to take. So we could take them in a different way. It's a risk coming here and putting something on YouTube, basically sitting in your chair. But I really wonder if I can find prosperity just sitting in my chair. Find out. Thank you very much once again for your time. For all those inventors out there, have fun inventing.